Welcome and welcome back, everybody. My name's Tia, and today we'll be taking a look at another solo board game. Today's game is Railroad Inc., designed by Helmar Hotch and Lorenzo Silva, published by Horrible Games. Now, previous editions of Railroad Inc., such as Deep Blue and Blazing Red, have been compatible with solo play, but this most recent launch included an official solo board, which is purple here, and it includes with it some of the new mechanics, such as the different buildings that are included in the challenge modes of Lush Green and Shining Yellow, as well as some mechanics that are going to be only specific to the solo game. So I'm very excited to finally be checking this out with you guys. Let's dive in. Here is our solo board set up with 3 unique challenges. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and do is write down the unique challenge codes, which are I, L, and H for this game. Now, we do have the option as well of including one of the mini expansions with the dice, but for the purposes of going through the new things in the challenge mode and also talking about the specific solo board, I figured we would leave those out for another time. So we have 3 of the basic challenges that we'll be trying to complete. And essentially, if you've never played Railroad Inc., we are going to be rolling these dice, which have a series of combinations of roads and railroads on them, which we will be then drawing onto our board to create routes. So since we're just using the base game dice, we'll be playing this over the course of 7 rounds. And the first thing that we're going to be considering is trying to connect as many of these exits as possible, which is similar to all of our Railroad Inc. base games. So what I think I'm going to do is branch out with one of these L-shaped pieces here. And we can also write down the number of the round up in the top corner so that in case we need to change anything during the course of this round, we can go back and do that. I'll set that to the side so we know we've used it. I also have this die, which allows us to change a road into a railroad, and it has a junction, which is the black connecting piece here. So we're going to draw that there. And the next thing we'll probably want to do is start building out our railroads. So I'm going to go ahead and draw one of those down here. Ideally, we'll be able to loop it back up to the top here, and I also want to draw one here. The reason being that the first challenge we'll be tasked to complete is one of the tasks. The second one will be task L, which is where we're going to connect from one middle section of a board to another. So ideally we can get these 2, although it could be any other ones. Once we're done with that round, we're going to re-roll and go into round 2. So with the base game dice, we're going to do this for a total of 7 rounds. Now, a couple things that are different, which in round 1, we did get a university. Once you fill spaces with 3 universities, you'll get to use one of these bonus sections. Typically, you can only use 3 throughout the course of the game, so this allows you to use 4. So far, we're at 1 of 3, though, so that won't happen just yet. I think I'm going to use this connecting piece to go ahead and fix up this little route here. That does mean that it's going to be difficult for us to get up here to a factory, which will allow us to use one of the die faces, another multiple. It'll be difficult to get to this factory up here. Unfortunately, that is another one of the buildings that comes in this challenge mode. The factory will allow us to use one of the die faces twice in a round. But I think we'll be okay without that, at least right now. I'm going to put this T-shape over here so we can maybe connect downward and get another university, which I will do with this one here, like so. Already on our way to getting educated. And the last one is another connecting piece, which perhaps we will go ahead and put that here. Maybe we can get a connection. Oh, actually, save that for another road. And that has one of the radio centers, which is unique to the solo play game. Up here at the top, you'll actually see that we have some arrow icons, which are re-rolls. We start the game with 3, and as we fill in radio towers, we'll be able to unlock up to 3 more of those. So I'm going to save that since we don't need it right now. And let's put that one up here, I suppose. Okay. Awesome. Round 2. And that's all 4. Okay. Going into round 3. So our first goal that we have to complete within 3 rounds is this one here. If we can complete it this round, we'll receive 4 points. Otherwise, we'll only receive 1. When you're playing with multiple players, it's whoever completes it first will receive 4 points, the next person will receive 2, and anybody else will receive 1 point. But with a solo play, it's going to be all or nothing, and it will be timed to kind of emulate playing against other people who are also potentially going for the same goal. So we need 6 road sections connected. We have 1, 2, 3. I could get 4, 5, 6 potentially. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and put, let's put this T-shaped one going up. That way we'll have a better chance of getting to the tower up here. And number 3, we also need to connect over here. So we'll our straightaway road 3. Now, I do have another junction here. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit, but it will fit down here potentially. Although I do want to get to this road as well. So what I'm going to do is use one of these specials, which again, we can use 3 times throughout the game. Because I have some railroadage going on here, I'm going to choose the one that has 3 roads and 1 railroad. That way I have some options of how I can connect. And it does create a junction here. So we'll have our regular roads here, like so. We'll have another railroad over here, I suppose. We can rotate them however we want, and a railroad going down here, since there is a railroad down here as well. Okay, and that leaves us with the 2 dice. Oh, we got another university as well, which means we can use an additional bonus. I am thinking I'm going to want a 4-way connection over here of some sort. And I'm going to take the one that is roads and railroads. When the 3rd university is crossed off, we get that bonus immediately. So it's not one that we can save up, kind of like the radio towers. So I'm going to go ahead and place that down here. We have our road going straight away through. And we have our railroad going straight away horizontally. Our bonus in round 3. I'm going to put a 3 there so we know when it was used. As far as these dice go, I want to continue to fill out this middle center. So what I think I'm going to do is we'll place this one here. So our road connecting in and our railroad going vertically. And with our last one, this one's tricky because it doesn't necessarily connect. It's going to take some future planning. We'll go ahead and place this tentatively, let's say over here. That'll give us some options for connecting this into here and this potentially up here and going over in a lead round. Now it is round 3, so we'll check our I objective, which we did complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got a bonus, but we will get 4 points for that. I also completed objective L, which again is any 2 sides connecting the middle exits. So we'll go ahead and give ourselves 4 points for that. And coming up in 2 rounds, we want to have 4 junctions connected, which, check it out, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've done that as well, so we'll fill out our 4 points for that. So effectively, we've gotten all of our objectives crossed off in 1 round, round 3, which is probably as good as our score is going to get, as impressive as it's going to get for the rest of the game. So, all right, we have a new lineup of dice for round 4. Let's see what we can do with that. Okay. I would like, so the 3rd type of building that we have here is this little house icon. We can cross off up to 4 of them throughout the game, and they're worth 2 points each. But unlike our other spaces, in order to receive the bonus, it has to have a junction on that spot. So I think what I'll do is place this junction piece here. That way we can get our 2 points for filling out this house space. This is round 4. I wrote 2 because, my goodness. All right, round 4. So we will cross off one of these houses and like bubbling up. Here we go. We'll be consistent. The next thing we're going to take a look at are some of these pieces here. We do have this beautiful double railroad again, which I honestly can't even tell you. Maybe we'll have some opportunities to snake around over here. Or yeah, let's do this. I'm probably going to regret this placement, but have a plan. Here we could connect and make like a loop if we need to. We'll see if that pans out. And over here, we could eventually connect up here and down here. So what I think I'll do with this railroad is angle it up so that we can start working in that direction. We may or may not get over there in time, but we'll try our best. And we do have one more T-shaped road here. So I think we'll go down here and get our first radio tower, which will give us a potential 4th reroll if we need it. Okay, so rolling our dice for the 5th round of 7. Ooh, we have an overpass. It is worth noting that the overpass is not a junction, so these routes are not connected, unfortunately. But we do have some other fun stuff happening. I'm going to use this straightaway road over here, which gives me one of our factories, so I can duplicate one of the dice used this round. Round 5. I also have a T-shaped railroad and some other things going on. I may put this overpass up here, see if we can get some connections happening. So we have our road going through, which will be potentially difficult to connect, and our railroad going underneath, but we may be able to loop them around and get them all connected to the same route. It is worth noting that you can have multiple routes with connections, but as you'll see in a moment when we do scoring, it's best if you can get as many of them connected to the same network versus having multiple smaller networks as far as like point efficiency goes. Over here, I'm going to place our other little railroad, T-shaped one, which was another factory, so we do get another bonus, which I'll take care of in a moment. And up here, we can change a railroad into a road or vice versa. I'm going to go ahead and place that up here so that we can maybe connect this road and railroad contraption. Okay. Now, as far as our bonus dice go, I think I want to go ahead. Oh, I wish I had a T-shaped road so we could go here again, but it's okay. No hard feelings. What I can do is do a very roundabout way of connecting these two together using our railroad piece and our other junction piece. So this will be a bonus from our factory. I'm going to create a junction and that road, create my railroad. And with the T-shaped railroad, I'm going to use my other bonus from the factory. And let's go ahead and maybe we'll go down so we can... We're probably going to connect over here anyway, so I think we'll go down with this and see what happens. Okay, so we do have this very confused but connected piece here. And we're moving on to round 6 of 7. Oh, I almost forgot to cross off my radio tower. You'll notice that I'm saving the re-rolls for towards the end when things get really dicey. No pun intended. The speed at which I said no pun intended probably makes it seem like it was planned, but I kid you not, as I was like, one of those things that as you're thinking it, you're like, oh man, stop, just don't, just. But there you go. Let's see, we do have a straightaway road we can put here, or a T-shape. Hey, we could potentially connect up, so I'm gonna go with that. We want all the points for sure. So this is very handy. And this is round 6. The next thing we're going to do, I do have this dead end road, which could give us a junction point for the house, but then we can't connect up there as well. This would be great to use to cover up a dead end where we're not going to receive any more points. Unfortunately, we have a lot of pieces where these are not super helpful. I'll use this straightaway road up here to connect going downward. Okay. And oh, that puts me in a bad spot. So because we are able to use 3 of these over the course of the game, not counting our bonus from the university, I've already used my possible junctions where there are 2 railroads and a road coming off on one side. So it's a little risky to do it this way, but I think we'll be okay. At the very least, I can use my 4-way road intersection, which won't score me points for the house, but I think it will be okay. Knock on wood, famous last words. As far as this little road piece goes, I'm not sure we'll be able to get all the way up here, so I'm just going to close this off. We will be getting points for having our middle section filled out as well, so it doesn't hurt to put that there, and it also gives us another re-roll. The last piece is this really fun looking bendy piece. So what I think I'm going to do is use my first re-roll of the game. I'm allowed to choose any amount of dice and re-roll them, but since we used the other 3, this is the only one I potentially want to change. And we got a T-shaped junction, or a T-shaped road piece, which I could put up here and just forget about the house points and hope that I can connect to this railroad. I think I might re-roll it again until I get some railroadage that can happen down here. Oh, hey, that is much better. Okay, so let's go ahead and, well, these are actually technically already connected, but it would be nice to close up some of the ends. We'll go ahead and go here. That way, there are no questions about it. Clean up some ends, and we'll also be getting the points for working towards that middle section. I am able to use one of these. You can only use 1 per round, again, negating that bonus from the universities. So I think it's in my best interest to use 1 so I don't lose it. The one that I would like to use is probably going to be one over here with, let's say, potentially 4 railroads, or I don't get a junction if I use 4 railroads. Let's do 3 railroads and a road. So this is round 6. We'll put our junction on our house space. We have a railroad here. We'll do a railroad here. We'll do a road here just because. And we'll do another railroad here. This is round. And we get our house point. 4 points. Okay. And going into our final 7th round, we have a bunch of re-rolls. Things are looking good. We'll see how this pans out. Ooh, this piece is going here. Not even thinking about it too hard. We'll get a point, and those 3 loose ends, which would have cost us negative 3 points. Yeah, get rid of those. Next up, we have something like this that we could put here. Ooh, and we can connect it off with this. Again, I'm not gonna think too hard about that. We're just gonna do it. Okay. Clean up some loose ends. This is probably one of the most non-functional railroad/road plans that's ever been created. However, I don't care. Oh, we can't connect down here because it's two of those instead. So I think we'll erase that, and maybe when I said we're not going to think about it too hard, maybe we need to think a little bit harder so that, you know, it's actually functional. That would be advisable. Like, not cheat and to actually get the game correct in some capacity. I also don't have this connected. I do have this piece which would fit there, but I want to connect this as well. Good thing we have some re-rolls, am I right? I don't think I want to use any of these pieces, so we'll use another re-roll. This time, instead of 1 die, we're re-rolling 3. So I like those odds a lot better. Okay, now we're talking. I could use this down here and use this piece to connect it to this junction. And then I have this one left over, which I think I'll end up re-rolling. So let's get these filled out first. Have our junction piece here is connecting through, and our road. I haven't mentioned this in this playthrough, assuming that many people at this point have potentially played Railroad Inc. But if it is your first time checking this game out, it is worth mentioning, as you probably noticed, that you can't place any floating pieces, so they do have to connect to an edge or to a pre-existing road or railroad on the map. Okay, so I have this last piece, and then I do have my one more bonus that I can use, either here or here. I do have bonuses that could go in either spot, so I'm just going to re-roll and hope that I get a die face that will fit in one of those places. So, fingers crossed. A bendy road. Perfectly not great. I have one more re-roll. Fingers crossed, everybody. Like, let's go. Okay. Hey, I know it rolled off camera, but trust me, it was this T-shape, so we're okay. I just have really bad aim when it comes to die rolling. We don't get points for the house that day. If I wanted to cheat, I would have set it to, well, it's not even on this die, but a junction. I would have just swapped it out and been like, oh yeah, totally, look, I got this one, yeah. But we're not, I promise, you guys know this, but if I ever cheat, it's because I forgot a rule or made a mistake, not because I was doing anything intentional, okay? And down here, we're gonna go ahead and use a bonus. We will have an empty spot, but we'll definitely get more points from filling out to this last arrow here. Not last, but our last arrow of the game. So let's create one last junction. I'm gonna go ahead and draw some stuff happening over here, and we'll fill out our railroad. All right, so after 7 rounds, again, just using the 4 base game dice, we're going to go ahead and do scoring. The first thing that we're going to take a look at is the number of exits that are connected on 1 or more routes. I know it looks very confusing, but these are all connected. I'll walk you through it. We have 1 connected to 2, connected to 3 exits. Junctions count as connection. Connected to 4, 5. We also have this, either way you want to go, connected up to our top 6, 7, down here to 8, and around to 9. And that seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I forgot this one down here, which again, we have multiple routes that we can get there, but we have all 9 of these connected on one route. So we look at this, which is 32. Now, let's say, for example, if you're playing and you have 2 separate routes that are not connected, of 4 and 5, you would take the number 4 and the number 5, 12 plus 16, and that would be the number of points you get, which, as I mentioned before, is a little less efficient because you would only get 28 points as opposed to 32. But for some other reasons, it might be optimal to do it that way. The next thing we're going to look at, which is the thing that I'm probably the worst at, is longest road and longest railroad, that's something that I just kind of go with and don't focus on too much, but I've seen games like won and lost based on just that factor alone. So our longest road, we're going to count the number of squares that goes through, including junctions. I think it's going to start down here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 segments. And our longest railroad, we're also going to score 1 point each. And I believe it's very chopped up, but we can actually go around here and do some crazy stuff. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's not too bad. Even though it's not a very efficient railroad, the longest railroad is 13. The next thing we're going to look at is the middle squares. So anything within this center lighter box is going to be 1 point each, and we have 8 out of 9. We're going to get points from our houses, which we do have these 2 houses that have junctions, 2 points each will give us 4 points total. Our challenges, which we absolutely smashed until somebody comments below and tells me I did them wrong, but I read them beforehand, so if I did them wrong, I'm so sorry. But we did finish them all on time, which means they're 4 points each for a total of 12 points. And underneath, we also have any specials, which we did not use any of the bonus mini expansions in this game, but I fully intend to go through them with you on future playthroughs. The last thing, which is my absolute favorite, is the dead end. So here's where the negative points come in, and if you're not careful, again, I've seen this make or break a game. So we're going to take a look at any pieces that do not end on an edge of a board, any railroads and roads that might meet up erroneously, or any spots that are just left open. So we have 1 down here, which is a road going into nothing. We have 2, 3, 4, and I believe that's actually it, which usually my dead ends are way worse than that. So we have -4 points. So now we'll take a look at our final scoring. Welcome to the metric scoring system. The system that only Tia uses and that slightly confuses and or pisses everybody else off. But I'm going to try to group things together in tens, how it makes sense with my brain. We can forget about these 4s. Here we have 32 plus 8, which is 40. 50, 65 plus 9 is a total of 74 points. So that is the official score for my first play of the Railroading Challenge solo board. So there you have it. That is the official solo board and variant for Railroad Inc. Challenge. This, I have to say, Railroad Inc. in general is one of my most played games, both with other people and by myself, just because it's very quick, it's very digestible, there's a lot of variability with the different expansions that you can incorporate into each game, and I have to say, I've been waiting so long for this official solo version of Railroad Inc., and it did not disappoint. The ability to reroll the dice with using the research labs is just amazing. As somebody who really enjoys games with big points, of course, I'm going to enjoy a mechanic that allows me to re-roll and try to get the absolute perfect die rolls to create the most efficient routes possible and really max out the score chart. So I really enjoyed this game. I hope you enjoyed exploring it with me. If you did, please consider pressing the like button and subscribing. You can also click the bell for notifications anytime I post a new video. Thank you again so much for joining me and checking out Railroad Inc. Challenge, the solo mode, and I will see you next time. Bye. Which I totally forgot to bring, so oh my gosh. Pennies, no, you can't go in there.